automation, like so many words, just means a lot of different things. You think you know, and then you think, well, maybe you don't know. So let's look at 5 ways you can start saving time in your business with automation that you might not have thought of. So let's start with the obvious. Off-the-shelf apps whose entire job is automation. You probably have at least some of the ones on this list in your business. Calendar links to automate scheduling of meetings, with Calendly being one of the market leaders. Email marketing apps like MailerLite or MailChimp or ActiveCampaign. They automate the sending of your email blasts. Or invoicing. Either a finance app like Xero or QuickBooks, or your business bank probably offers this too. Sending invoices and auto-checking for payments, etc. CRM, the tool that you use to track your contacts, usually automates at least some of this activity. And social media scheduling, Buffer or Hootsuite are the obvious big ones. These are all great ways to make your life easier and stay on top of those processes. Just make sure you keep track of the pricing. They can all add up. Number 2, in-app automations. A lot of the apps that you use to track your operational processes within your business, processes like onboarding a client, delivering a project, developing a new product, where you go through the same steps-ish each time. These apps like Trello or Asana or ClickUp or Airtable have a bunch of in-app automations that you can set up. When this task is done, create this task. When I move this task from A to B, notify this other person. If a task is stuck in such and such a status for more than 2 days, notify me via email. If you're not already, it is worth investigating these options. Those little clicks add up, and usually it shaves a lot of time off a process if, as soon as can be, the next bit can start. Number 3, spreadsheets. Formulas in spreadsheets are essentially a form of automation. Rather than adding everything up, you use the sum function, or sum if you want to only sum items that meet a certain criteria. A lot of businesses that I've worked with haven't taken advantage of what you can do in Excel or Google Sheets. And these days, there's a huge hack you can use. Ask AI for the formula. I want to add up the totals in column B. If column A says XYZ, what's the formula for this? And if you don't understand, you can tell it that you're a novice and it needs to tell you step by step what to do with that formula. Aside from formulas, you can pull data from one spreadsheet to another using a special formula. No more copying and pasting. You can create drop-downs so entries are always the same. You can create conditional formatting so it highlights based on whatever you want. A whole bunch of stuff. Spreadsheets are still my favourite type of automation. Just so versatile. Number 4, no code. If you haven't tried it yet, do not be scared. Something like Zapier is so easy to use. All the no-code platforms work on the same principle, a trigger and an action. You input that when a certain defined event happens, a trigger, you want it to perform, the computer to perform a set of actions, an action, or set of tasks. No code can integrate with all of the apps that you use, and most of the interfaces are drag and drop, so setup is easy peasy. Simple things like, when I add a client details into this app, please create a client in that app. When I onboard a new client, create a folder on my drive. When I add an email to a folder in my inbox, upload the attachments to my drive. There are literally millions of things you can do. Number 5, had to include AI. I suppose using AI to ask questions and summarize text and help you think through problems could be classed as automation in and of itself, but I was more thinking when you set up an AI app for yourself. There are 2 main ways that I do this in my business: custom GPTs and using the ChatGPT API. Custom GPTs are like apps that you can create within ChatGPT, but you use normal language to program it. You can upload data and make it You can upload data that it can draw from, you can make amendments whenever you want. So as an example, I have one that creates hooks for me. When I upload text or script, if it's a video, it gives me 10 ideas of hooks based on hook formulas that I've found along the way. Usually they're not good enough to be used verbatim, but the ideas are great. And then the API. So an API is basically a way for the computer to talk to whatever app, send instructions and get answers back. So if you combine no-code platforms with the API, you can, for example, email in newsletters and get a summary and an audio file back, which is how I built the newsletter summarizer. So there you go, lots of ways you can automate, from super easy to needs a bit more learning. If you want to chat about any of these, I offer free consultation. And of course, if you want help actually implementing them, I can help with that too. Just get in touch.